Yes.
Awesome. Okay, I'll go through it then. So I'm Frank Anderson. I'm the Public Works Director for the tribe here. And I chose two topics to share. And so the title is the Public Works Maintaining and Building Systems in a Changing World. Current issues and challenges. What you see there is a picture of the department for the most part. And so you see us in masks. And so what a challenging year and some change. But we are diverse in what we do. We move and we change our direction depending on what the need is. So that's our group. So what I wanted to talk about first is what we do. And so again, we provide service-oriented end product and respond to natural disasters and pandemics as one of our duties. The other thing we do is we supply drinking water to the community, businesses, and visitors. We ensure tribal roads and properties are in good working condition, and we respond to all emergencies affecting the above-mentioned assets. What you're going to see on the side, there's two pictures. And so the picture on top is of a flood event that's either happened in 2019 or 2020. We have events in both years. And so one of the reactions that we have is to protect our facilities and respond to community members who ask for assistance in regards to some sandbagging. So what we do is we prepare for that every winter and spring. And so we have an area that in the lower picture that shows pallets of sandbags. And in the background, you'll see a green structure that is actually a sandbag machine. We found that to be very helpful because after filling about 100 of these sandbags, it'll wear someone out quick. And so this is, and thanks JD, this is under the transit bus barn. So the material is dry and ready to go for when we get called. So recent disaster type events and responses, flood stage of river and flood protection and sandbags, as I mentioned before. Also tribal road monitoring and protection. So our proactive movements are safety and monitoring of responders and volunteers, and document. The background on that is, as you see on the left picture, the Umatilla River, which is within the tribe here, most of the time is a very beautiful and a nice place, and the river flows very, very gently. But in certain springs, when there's a large snow in the mountains and we have warm springs, the runoff it makes for incredible runoff, and the river does rise. And when the river rises, it's going to erode and it's going to create some difficulties for any structures around it. And that could be a house, could be a bridge, it could be any structure that we have. So one of the things that you'll see on the left is the river. And if you look in the background there, that is where it's running really fast and creating a lot of erosion. The picture on the right is a bridge that is not our bridge, it's a county bridge, but it's within the reservation here. And it buckled. It's starting to fail because of this erosion. So you can have incredible damage on structures and houses. Our response to that, again, is sandbags or evacuation assistance. But when we do sandbags, we have to watch things, because we can start to respond to a sandbag situation, start sandbagging, and the river will rise quickly where we have to evacuate ourselves as well as those around us, because the sandbags that we could see, and within a half hour, you can't even see them. The river's risen that much. So the other thing is safety and monitoring of responders and volunteers. If you have these types of events, it's most effective if you have someone assigned to monitor who's coming with and loading up with sandbags, where they're going, and when they return. It's very important, safety. You don't want anybody hurt. So again, when you have this velocity of water going by, it's important to be safe. The term document, that's an after effect. If you have damage and you choose to work with FEMA on cost recovery, the process for cost recovery is very detailed and requires a very good documentation to get reimbursed. So if you get in that situation, it is most important to have someone assigned to do these things specifically. So it's very helpful. The other subject we have is community resource management. Water is life. Our current community water system is consists of 5 wells with an additional well, well 6, coming on board hopefully later this summer. And so from those wells, we provide up to 1 million gallons a day of drinking water to the community for some purpose. And some of that is irrigation. We think that we're at a good point in production, but now we have, if you have water being consumed, it's going somewhere in the sewer system. And we don't have a sewer treatment plant, so our sewer system connects to our neighboring city's sewer treatment plant. So with that, we have a permit for allowable discharge to that treatment plant, and we have rates and fees which are from the city next to us. We're actually charged a little higher since we're outside their service area. And that cost is rising with the increase of rates and fees to the point where it's really a concern to whether it's even economical to do so anymore. That's our growing pains. We have, as JD mentioned, there's plans for additional housing units, which is tribal housing units, which is a great project that we have, and there's more planned. But that takes water and sewer supplies and system ability. So we have limited supplies right now, not so much on the water side, but getting close. But the sewer side is where we have concerns. And so that kind of triggers our discussion about is it appropriate for us to consider our own wastewater treatment plant? Maybe. It depends on the type of treatment plant we were speaking of. The standard traditional treatment plant is a lagoon type treatment plant, which is the bottom left picture that you see on the screen. Those are mixers and aerators, and so what's that in big lagoons? So what that is doing is it's mixing so that the lagoons can separate the sewage and top and bottom. But along with that comes with a pretty aggressive smell. And so, but I think we're in a position where the technology is catching up to us. So they now have other types of treatment plants. So, our internal benefit is, how do we choose what's right for us? Do we just want a lagoon type treatment plant that we treat and then we just discharge to the river, or do we want something where we can get another benefit out of it? And so what is that? So that's typically, with technology, you can now have systems that will treat the sewage and treat it to a level, and so you can reuse it. And we have a lot of turf that needs to be irrigated. So really, we're looking at a system that we could reuse and get more than one benefit from it. The additional benefit from that is that we can actually have tribal members train it and operate that plant. So there is multiple benefits for reuse. And so the top right picture is a particular type of reuse treatment where it's like cargo containers or Lego system, if you would. And so you have a good return of irrigation water, and you have a small amount of solids that you can apply to certain ag farms, and then you have some that you dispose of, which is very little. So anyway, technology is to benefit on this. So, but it is an extra cost. But I think if we look at the overall picture of this, is that we have we're kind of in a way we're kind of prisoners of a neighboring system's costs, cost rates and fees. And so we feel it's important for us to look at this and see if we can neutralize that cost and give more benefit to the community for that. And what that does is it also allows, if we reuse the water for irrigation, it allows us to take that drinking water that we were irrigating with and now use it for any additional housing units that we want to build or any other community buildings. So in a way, it really makes sense. Again, it's about cost, certainly, but I think overall the multiple benefits gives it something to really look at closely. And I think that's the way to go for this tribe. And so I think that, you know, in the future, I think there's going to be an aggressive push for this in my field, at least. And so that's my opinion. And I think it's a great benefit to the community. And so, you know, again, that's tribal community advancements. You know, it's taking care of Mother Earth. We reuse. It's important to reuse to make a maximum benefit out of any resource that we have. We have such, we have aquifers here that we pull from water from, and the water, I've worked at a lot of places, and the water here is I call it a sweet water. It's really, really good quality water, and we chlorinate it because we have to, but it's just really good quality water. So those are the two items I wanted to mention. And again, it says reach for the stars. I think we should look at, you know, far-reaching possibilities that will benefit the community, the tribal community. So that's my presentation. Be happy to answer any questions now or later.
Thanks, Frank. I love the idea of reaching for